Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Morantz.
Shabbat Shalom, Cantor Friedman. Nice to be back.
I'm so glad to have you back.
Nice to be here. Hello, everybody. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom Lekulam. I hope it's been a wonderful 10 days or 11 days or so since we last saw each other. Feeling very rested and ready for tonight. How was the pre-production schedule this week, Cantor?
Rabbi, we were singing our heads off.
Get ready for the High Holy Days, a special 5781 version.
That's for sure.
Hopefully it will be a one-of-a-kind experience. Maybe a one and only experience.
Right.
But a quality one.
For
so let's
sure.
do a little Nagun to Ma Yafeh Hayom, and then we'll move forward in our service. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Shabbat is always a beautiful day. Shabbat Shalom to one and all.
Shabbat Shalom. How lovely to bring light into our homes, figuratively, spiritually, and really. And candles don't behave. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
We invite you to rise physically or spiritually as we sanctify our day with Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'harta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim.
L'chaim. Taim meod. Very tasty, I'm sure.
Ah, of course, the finest vinegared grape juice I could find.
That sounds very appealing.
Very
So,
delicious.
Pepre, on that note, we turn to This Grateful Heart, a special poem by Alden Solovey called Shabbat is the Place. Shabbat is the place where time and space meet, without questioning how the beginning began or how the ending ends. Shabbat is the place where song and silence meet, blessing each other with the gift of rest. Shabbat is the place where dreams and angels meet, yearning together for a world of peace. Shabbat is the place where holiness and eternity meet, praying together for the world to come.
Rabbi, my B string is not always doing what it's not staying a B string. So we're going to have to keep checking in with it. But
what would you like to play?
I think that we should play L'Chadodi.
Okay, sounds good.
Lovely tradition of running out into the field to greet the Sabbath bride. And okay, so maybe we're not in a field right now.
And we'll make sure in our heads, Cantor Friedman, to auto-tune that B string to whatever.
Right. If things go south.
B or whatever. Anyway, you'll forgive me. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to.
No, not at all.
Manage expectations for the evening. That I'm just happy to be praying with you, and I think I can speak for our community. We're also all happy to be praying with you and each other, and we'll manage that B string however it sounds.
That's right. Lecha dodi lecha kala la 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 Bnei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha dodi lecha kala la 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 Bnei Shabbat Kabbalat Shivor v'zachor v'dibur echad Hishmiyanu echad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Hishmiyanu u'tiferet v'hilah Lecha dodi lecha kala la 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 Bnei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha dodi lecha kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Chadodi Kabbalat.
We rise in body and or spirit, and we call ourselves into worship. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Vayed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Vayed. Cantor Friedman and friends, Leah Jones, good to see you as well. I found a beautiful collection of evening blessings, kind of like our morning blessings, our Birchot HaShachar. These are our Birchot Amariv, and I thought that I would offer them from Alden Solovey, evening blessings. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the gifts of the body. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the delights of the senses. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the beauty of the heart. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the dignity of the mind. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the radiance of the soul. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the mystery of the Spirit. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the blessings of your word. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the majesty of your wisdom. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the presence of your glory. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us the wonder of being. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. For these and all your gifts, we sanctify and praise your holy name.
And we say all together, amen to that.
Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem כבוד, שכבוד מהותו לעולם. ברוך שכבוד, שכבוד מהותו לעולם. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושננתם לבניך, ודיברת בעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let us continue with our song for freedom. V'chamoch ha'elim Adonai, Michamocha Neta Bakodesh Nora Tehilot Osefele Nora Tehilos Osefele. What are y'all gonna do? Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? It's all we ever had. Redemption songs, these songs of freedom. Redemption songs.
Rabbi, if you had an Apple Watch, you might have just gotten what I got on mine, which said, it's time to stand. I think the Apple Watch is very in tune with our Shabbat worship. And so I invite you, if that feels comfortable, to rise, either physically or spiritually, or both, as we continue with ha-tefillah, the tefillah, the prayer. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש, שמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך, סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Kindly take some time for your own prayers, your own personal meditations, your own breath. However you want to use this time, call it your own.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, ויום לבי לפניך, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, גואלי, לה לה לה, לה לה לה,
Shakochach, kol hakavod. Nice version of that.
Thank you. We turn now to our reading of Torah for Parshat Ekev, and we begin, of course, with the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. And if you would like to be one of the people who come on to Zoom and do the blessing before and after Torah, would you just send me a quick email? We would love to have you do it. And it's been nothing but it's really me who, gets a little nervous around ZoobTube land. And but I'm feeling more confident, and I think that I know Leah Jones can handle it, and so I'd love for you to do this because the rabbi is really good at it, but he's a professional. So right, I mean, and you'd be very good too. I mean, don't. I'm not trying to blow sunshine. You really would be quite remarkable at this blessing. So I want you to hear the rabbi do it just one more time so that you know how brilliant you will be when you go ahead.
No pressure, right? Let's see here. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ki tomar bilvavacha rabim hagoyim ha'ele mimeni echal uchal lahorisham lo tira mehem zahor tizkor et asher asa Adonai Elohecha lefaro ulchol Mitzrayim hamasot hagdolot asher ra'u enecha v'ha'oto hamoftim v'hayad hazaka v'hazroa hantuya asher hotziacha Adonai Elohecha ken yaseh Adonai Elohecha lechol ha'amim asher ata yareh mipnechem. Should you say to yourself, these nations are more numerous than we, how can we dispossess them? You need have no fear of them. You have but to bear in mind that Adonai, your God, did to Pharaoh and all the Egyptians. The wondrous acts that you saw with your own eyes, the signs and the portents, the mighty hand, and the outstretched arm by which Adonai, your God, liberated you. Thus will Adonai, your God, do to all the peoples you now fear. And if you'd substitute instead of the peoples that you fear, the plagues, the other things that are swirling in our lives that we're fearful of, that outstretched hand brings me a lot of comfort. Rabbi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
I think we'll offer the Devar Torah first. Shabbat Shalom lekulam, a Sabbath of peace to one and all. Pleased to see you again. It's good to be here. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this Shabbat Ekev. Chevre, it never ceases to amaze me how timely Torah is, no less serendipitous. I'll explain what I mean. Last week, I spent time off the grid with my family, resting, reconnecting, and refreshing. So far, so good. But I didn't observe Tisha B'Av with you. So just to review, Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, is a holiday in which we commemorate the destruction of the first and second temples, among other tragedies. So I've been thinking about some way to bring Tisha B'Av up tonight. And then this week, because Cantor Friedman was busy with High Holy Day pre-production, that's something we think about in this COVID age, a one-time deal, I think. It's probably all we can handle, right? But anyway, I subbed for Cantor, and I helped her co-teacher, Barry Speart, dear fellow, with their class on King David. I found our time together very meaningful, and I was glad to be there. Now, on first blush, when we take a look at our key biblical text, from Shabbat Ekev, the connection between Tisha B'Av and King David is not obvious. Here, we are commanded to recite Birkat Hamazon, the blessing after our meals, translated, for the good land which God has given you. Find this in verse 10, chapter 8, verse 10. Although the sages universalized post-meal blessings, requiring its recitation around the world, I should say their post-meal blessings recited around the world, modern conservative rabbi Ismar Shorsh teaches the following. The attachment to the land of Israel was never severed from the prayer itself. On the contrary, the four brachot of the grace brim with national sentiment. As conceived by the rabbis, Birkat Hamazon encapsulates much of early Jewish history into a reaffirmation of the inviolability of the land. So in other words, there is a very strong connection when we pray the Birkat Hamazon. Not only are we giving thanks for our food, but we're giving thanks for the land of Israel. Still, where is the connection between Tisha B'Av and King David? Trust me, we're getting warmer. Some years ago, a fascinating archaeological find reinforced our historic bond to the land. Now, here enters the great King David, as well as King Solomon, and the Jewish nation, and its temples, number one, and more especially, number two. Now, some more background for your viewing pleasure. The biblical kingdom of David, going back to 1000 before the Common Era, followed by Solomon, his son, was our Jewish people's first independent nation state, with Jerusalem as its political and spiritual capital. And Jerusalem remained this political and spiritual capital all the way until the destruction of the Second Temple in the year of 70 of the Common Era. Got that? Now, back to the archaeological finds. During excavations, for the expansion of the Jerusalem-Tel Aviv highway, archaeologists discovered more evidence of Jewish presence in the region corresponding to the very moment in history that the Second Temple fell. According to Israel newspaper Yediot Achronot, a hoard of coins from the 4th year of the Jewish revolt against Rome, minted months before the fall of Jerusalem in 70 of the Common Era, was found outside Jerusalem, adjacent to what is today known as the neighborhood of Abu Ghosh. I think we have a map to show you. Not too far away from Jerusalem is Abu Ghosh. And the coins are pressed on one side with a chalice and the inscription in Hebrew, "To the redemption of Zion." And on the other sides are embossed with a design including a bundle of lulav, right, palm branches between two etrogs. And around the design is written year 4 of the Great Revolt, from 69 to 70 of the Common Era. Now, according to Judea District Chief Archaeologist Pablo Betzer, these coins were minted a few months before the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. It was one of the last efforts by the rebels to prevail in their battle against the Romans. So, although the rebellion failed, the coins remained hidden for 2 millennia, 2,000 years, to be found by a team building the road to a rebuilt Jerusalem. Powerful. And thus this serendipitous confluence of Jewish meaning. By emphasizing the importance of the land of Israel in the blessings after the meal, the Birkat Hamazon consecrates our unbreakable historic connection to the land of Israel. That comes out in our Parshat HaShavua, Ekev. Add to this enduring Torah new and important archaeological evidence that points to an ancient connection to the land and the Jewish nation, a connection which remains strong today, despite the destruction of the Second Temple. And before that, the First Temple in 586 BCE, which links us to our earlier kings, right? Solomon in particular, and by extension, King David. Beautiful connections, powerful connections, serendipitous connections. And this connection with destruction of the temples and otherwise, becomes the basis for our Tisha B'Av observance. But for hope's sake, thankfully, I might add, destruction is not the only part of the story. So is construction. Destruction, construction. To explain, I'm pleased to turn to our very own Rabbi Felix Levy, Zichrono Livracha, who served Emmanuel congregation between 1907 and 1956. In a sermon about the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, Rabbi Levy writes this: every religious movement has 2 full tasks: destruction and construction. It must eradicate old errors, clear away ancient misconceptions, battle against false ideals, and it must also build up true or newer concepts of God and duty. These tendencies are exemplified in the whole course of our history Israel's teachers, from Moses to the youngest disciple in our midst, have always protested against some deep-seated error and belief and practice while announcing your own better doctrine. From this perspective, we can be fairly certain that Rabbi Levi would have been a big fan of the rebels as they stood up against Roman oppression. The rebels reflected a constructive attitude amidst the destructive attitude of the Romans. To that end, they sought to be destructive to the Roman ends and to rebuild a Jerusalem without oppression. To that end, I imagine Rabbi Levi would instruct us to champion other constructive perspectives over destructive ones, such as reason over superstition, spirit over materialism, hope over despair, faith over faithlessness, the centrality of Jewish community over rugged American individualism, the rise of the modern state of Israel from the ashes of the Shoah, one of his most favorite passions, and last but not least, love over hatred. Considering the destructive realities which Rabbi Levi experienced from World War I to World War II, from the Spanish flu to the Great Depression to the Holocaust, his message of construction from destruction is a summons for all of us, no matter what era we live in. It is a summons to resilience and to change, and a message of aspiration and perseverance. And it's a call to step into the light, no matter how dark life might be. While Tisha B'Av is a time of mourning and fasting, Shabbat is a time for celebrating and feasting. We need both. One sacred moment recalls the destruction in life from which we must rise. The other reminds us of the constructive moral creativity, the high ethical place from which we must not fall. And whether we are rebuilding Jerusalem or the Jewish state or our lives, from Shabbat to Tisha B'Av, our Jewish traditions as well as our Jewish history provide us with some most excellent tools. So let's keep building, let's keep rebuilding, and let our heroes like King David or Solomon or the rebels who fought the Romans or our own Rabbi Levi help us in some shape, way, or form along the way. Shabbat Shalom. So it is time in our service to take a moment to summon our chesed, our grace, our kindness, and to channel it towards those who need healing, who need refuah shlema, renewal of body and of spirit. Noreen Alper, Sandy Andina, Tanya Barlian, Barbara Berman, Itka Bat Brindle, David Burchett, John Cameron, Vega Sora Bat Chaya, Linda Danielson, Francine Fields, Eslyn Garb, Royce Gardner, Jim Gilbert, Carter Glass, Don Grandolfo, Mimi Harris, Werner Hyman, Jane Herron, Priscilla Hill, Harold Katz, Kate Kelly, Molly Klee, Anne-Marie Kuleza, Robert Langfelder, Louise Leigel, Roy Lloyd, Gerald Marks, Stephen Melnick, Deep Meserve, Deborah Miller, Jimmy Miller, Moshe Ben Chava Venatan, Jordan Ehrenberg, Nicole Newcomb, Larry O'Neill, Don Olson, Mark Perlman, Alan Sager, Kristen Rouse Skinner, Maria Sklyanskaya, Ben Smolensky, Linda Stahl, Tolly Stein, Michael Van Buren, Virginia Wharton, Nachum Feivel Ben Gedalia Umasha, Joe Mosciano. Any additions or corrections?
Yes, Rabbi Marantz, we have a few additional names from our congregation. Sarah Lewinson, Allison Good, Jordan Jacowell, Cindy Roper Jacowell, Bonnie Fields Leibovich, Debbie Watts, Tina Ortega, Marcy Markowitz, Irene Noparstak, Terry and Stuart Epstein, Xander Schnitzer, Gregory Sklavos, Carol Cohen, Phil Goldstucker, Becky Hanscom, and Betty Levin.
Refuah Shlema, renewal of body and spirit to one and to all. Shar Kochech, Ruth, thank you very much. And we continue with the Aleinu.
One moment while I get to my PowerPoint slides.
No rush.
My mouse gave out on me.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
I offer you one of my favorite kavanot before the Kaddish Yatom. It's called We Remember Them by Rabbi Sylvan Kamens and Rabbi Jack Reamer. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. So, Chevre, we think about those who have died in recent days. Our beloved Floyd Manilow, Michael Peter Smith, Jordan Rosenberg, Emil Robichek, Roby Wayne. Is that correct, Cantor? And Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz. Rabbi Steinsaltz of blessed memory is the author of the Daf Yomi, the page of Talmud that we study in our Talmud class, our Talmud by the Lake class, every Shabbat morning. So we are saddened by the loss of all these dear folks. We also observe the following Yartzeiten of Helen Anspach, Myron Lee Bender, Elaine R. Damon, Alan Dugan, Irving Garfield, Bertha Golub, Violet Goodman, Hirsch Heyman, Alan Cantor, Pepe Ehrlich Kraus, Luella Crete, Joseph Crivo, Ralph Louie, Angelo Gaetano Olson, Herbert L. Rest, Gene Rosenthal, Leopold Rothschild, Selma Slive, Sarah Smith, May Spira, Mildred Plow Sokolow, Jerome Weil, Augusta Weiss, Adele Yanes, Francine Yeager, Ruth E. Zuckerman. In addition, we plan to do this as much as possible to remember someone or some ones, some folks who died in the Shoah. In this case, we remember David Drucker and family, connected to our Cantor Friedman, Michelle Drucker Friedman. And in addition, we also want to remember those who have died in acts of racism or police violence as a way of ensuring that we remind ourselves that all Black lives matter. So in that spirit, we remember John Crawford. Any additions, corrections, repronunciations?
Yes, we have additional names from our congregation. We remember the people who died in the massive explosion in Beirut this past week. Jamie Samuelson, Wilfred Brimley, Sir Alan Parker, John Crowell, Edith Rubin, Warren Siza, Joseph Crivo, and John Hume.
Sorry about mispronouncing Mr. Krivo's name. I will try to remember not to do that next time. I think of Wilford Brimley, one of my favorite roles, where he was the manager in The Natural of Roy Hobbs. And that story was written, I'm looking it up here with Rabbi Google. Malamud is the author of that story. Bernard Malamud, Jewish author of greatness. So Mr. Brimley, Zichrono Libracha, and everyone else, Zichronam Libracha. May the memories of all these souls be for blessing as we rise in body and or spirit, or as is our custom. And Cantor, please recite the Kaddish. Nice and slowly, please.
Thank you, Rabbi. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Ba'alma divra chirute B'yamlich malchute B'chayachon Uvyomechon Uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba Mevarach Leolam U'almei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yiromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yithale V'yithalal Shmei D'Kudesha Brihu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
May the one who makes peace in the heavens bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say, Amen. Any special Hoda'ot for tonight? Announcements.
Just a light Hoda'ot night. Just a few little thingies that you just got to do. These are doable thingy-bowls that are going to be wonderful for your mind and spirit. King David, up close and theological. And I am so grateful to our rabbi who will be stepping in again this particular week, but Barry Spirit is just delicious teacher. And there's a lot to learn about the life of King David. He was quite a tricky individual. So interesting stuff. Life of Meaning, Embracing Reform Judaism's Sacred Class. This has been a multi-step class, but you can join at any time. Yeah. So that's quite lovely. And then a chance to hear Rabbi Shulman through not just his work, but the work of many who have created this remembrance in a way that allows senior voices to be illuminated and to find meaning in this tricky time. It should be quite extraordinary as well.
I'm really looking forward to that. It's an embodiment of the mitzvah of kibud zkenim.
Yeah.
Kibud zkenim is showing respect to our elders.
Correct.
For their wisdom and for their contributions in life that continue to inspire us and to lift us.
Leah Jones, you have something to add?
I just wanted to add, for folks who are with us tonight who might be joining us on this event, it will be live on YouTube the exact same way we do services, but there's also the option if you want to dial in to the Zoom and listen on your phone. If you dial in, you won't be able to see the video we're going to share or see the panel, but you'll be able to hear everything. So it will be the same way that services go live on YouTube. This event will be live on our YouTube page. And then I also wanted to say that late this afternoon, I was in a conversation with Arlene and Sarah Beth, our executive director, about the very significant needs that Care for Real is facing during COVID. So we are looking to, in a way that we might be able to support a school supply drive, with schools being remote this fall and so many kids needing to learn at home. There's just a need this fall like no other. So keep Care for Real in mind as you are making your end of summer donations, and keep a lookout. Our hope is to be a donation site to do a back to school drive, because boy, has this summer been tough on a lot of Edgewater families. And so we always want to make sure to support through Care for Real.
That's right.
Amen.
Thank you. All right, Rabbi, we're ready for you to close us out.
So, whether it's kibbutz kenim, honoring our elders, or being mindful of those in need around us, the hungry, those who need clothes, those who need that proverbial human touch, if not literally in this COVID age, at least symbolically. We're going to make progress, not only because each of us commits to the mitzvot, but that we collectively work together as a force for good. And somehow together we will extend these mitzvot more fully in pursuit of tikkun olam, in healing the world, and ultimately changing the world so that it can be healed. So, ani ve'ata nishaneh et ha'olam. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה אז יבואו כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה ננסה מההתחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר, זה לא נורא. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May Adonai bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'huneka.
May God smile upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom.
May your face be lifted up to God's face, that God might shine in you and shine through you and give you the gift of peace and wholeness. Can you hear us?
Amen. Chevre, let's keep building and rebuilding and building back better. Amen ve'amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.